Okay, so now we will learn how to write the question and exclamation mark, and also how to formulate some questions. What are the most common words whenever you have to formulate and make a question in Spanish? So let's try it out. So in Spanish, there's a difference between English, which is that whenever you write an exclamation mark or a question mark, you first have to open it by putting it in the opposite way, and then you have to close it. So it's kind of like open and then close. So yeah, basically for these both marks, you have to open and close. So you might be wondering, how can I type them? How can I type these marks? So let's give it a try. Let's learn how to type them. So basically, you have to, the first thing you need to do is that make sure you're using a Spanish keyboard. So look for the Spanish keyboard. So make sure you click and switch between English to Spanish or whatever language you have. And if you look on my on-screen keyboard, next to the backspace key, there is this key. So if you have an English keyboard, it might be a plus sign or an equal sign or any other sign. But in a Spanish keyboard, it will be the open mark for making a question, the open question mark. So basically you have to click on this one, and that's how you get the open mark. So you press the key next to the backspace key, and that's how you get it. So then you can write whatever. For example, I'm just gonna type hola. It's not a question, but anyways. And the way to close it is that you hold shift, and now if you look on my on-screen keyboard, so no shift, and now I hold shift, is the second one after the backspace key. So this one becomes the closing key. My mistake. Let's see, let's click, there you go. So in order to open, you click on the one next to the backspace, and in order to close, you click on shift and you press the one to the left. And that's basically how you open and close. So to open, you just click once. To close, you press shift and the one to the left, the one next to the letter 0, to the number 0. And that's how you type them. And to make the other ones, the exclamation mark, the way to open it, if you look next on the open exclamation mark, open question mark, you can see next to it that there is the exclamation mark. So you basically press the shift key and then press that key, the one next to the backspace key, while holding the shift key. So there you go, shift and this one. That's how you open. And the way to close is the same as in English. You press shift and you go to the number 1, shift and 1, just like in English. So to open, shift and the key to the left of backspace. To close, shift and number 1. So that's basically how it works. Open, shift, key next to the backspace key, and close, shift, 1. So yeah, this is how you type these words. It's confusing. Even for me, I sometimes forget where they are. Happens very often. I forget where those keys are. So yeah, make sure you know where they are. Okay, let's go back to class. And here we have some examples of asking questions. So you might say, ¿Cómo? Which means how. ¿Cómo? How? ¿Cómo? So these are some common words for asking questions. ¿Cómo? How? And the next one is ¿cuál? Which means which. Or ¿cuáles? Which is which, but plural. ¿Cuáles? Which, plural. ¿Cuál? Which. ¿Cuáles? Which, plural. And the next one, you can also say ¿cuándo? Which means when. ¿Cuándo? When. ¿Cuándo? And the other one is ¿a dónde? Which means where to. ¿A dónde? Where to? ¿A dónde? So let's try one more time. ¿Cómo? How? ¿Cómo? Try again. ¿Cuál? Which? ¿Cuándo? When? ¿A dónde? Where to? And if you notice, they all have accents. And this is very common when you ask a question. So question words, most of them tend to have accents. So I'm actually always, whenever we write a question, I will put it right here so you know which one am I using. So these are the most common ones. So throughout the course, I will write questions and most of them will always start with this. So yeah, let's try the next one. Actually, let's try the first one, which is ¿Cómo te llamas? Which is what's your name? Or how do you call yourself? ¿Cómo te llamas? How do you call yourself? And actually, I think I forgot one small thing, which is how to write the accents, these marks, my mistake, in Spanish. My mistake, in Spanish with the, on mobile. So let's try the mobile and let's try to write this phrase on mobile. ¿Cómo te llamas? So let's see. So the way to write it is that first, in order to get the key, you have to go on 1, 2, 3, and then you press this one, which is the question mark. You hold it and you click here. So there you go, that's how you type it. And if you want to say ¿Cómo te llamas? Let's just use the audio feature. ¿Cómo te llamas? There you go. And in order to close it, we click here, we go back, and then we click on the same phrase, on the same key, the question mark key. And the other one basically works the same way. If you need to write the exclamation mark, you go look for it, which is right here. You hold it, and you just switch to this one, which is the open one. Let's try it again. ¿Cómo te llamas? So there you go. And in order to close, we go back and click here. So yes, this is basically how you type it in mobile. So in mobile is way more simple than in a computer. Even I still struggle using the computer one, but a mobile is very simple. Okay, let's go back to class. Let's try the next one. ¿Cuál te gusta? Which means, which one do you like? ¿Cuál te gusta? Which one do you like? ¿Cuál? Which? And the next one. ¿Cuándo vamos a la casa? When do we go home? ¿Cuándo? When? ¿Cuándo vamos? When do we? Vamos, ir. When do we go? A la casa. Home. Nosotros vamos. We go. And the next one. ¿A dónde vamos? ¿A dónde? Where to? ¿A dónde vamos? Where are we going? Where are we going to? So basically, vamos is a conjugation of to go. Nosotros vamos, we go. Where are we going? Where do we go? And let's try the next ones. We also have cuánto or cuánta. So cuánto means how much for something masculine. Cuánta for something feminine. Cuánto, cuánta. More often you will always use cuánto. That's the most common one. Cuánto. Rarely you would say cuánta. For example, if you want to say, oh, how much food? ¿Cuánta comida? How much food are you bringing? ¿Cuánta comida traes? How much food are you bringing? ¿Cuánta? But most often you would say cuánto. The next one. ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántos? And ¿cuántas? So these are basically the same how much, but in plural. How much for masculine, cuánto for masculine, cuántas for feminine. ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? How much, but plural. The next one. ¿Dónde? Where? ¿Dónde? Where? ¿Dónde? And the next one. ¿Para qué? What for? ¿Para qué? What for? Let's try one more time. cuánto or cuánta, how much, masculine, feminine. Cuántos, cuántas, how much, but plural. ¿Dónde, where? ¿Para qué? What for? ¿Para qué? And let's try the examples. The first one is very common. You will use it if you go to a Spanish-speaking country, which is ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much is it? ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much is it? And another one. ¿Cuántos hay? How many are there? So hay, which means to be there, basically, are there. ¿Cuántos hay? How many are there? Which comes from the verb haber. ¿Cuántos hay? And the next one. ¿Dónde estamos? Where are we? ¿Dónde estamos? ¿Dónde estamos? Where are we? So yeah, estar, estamos is a conjugation from estar. Nosotros estamos, we are. ¿Dónde estamos? Where are we? And the next one. ¿Para qué vamos? What are we going there for? What for, basically? What for are we going there? ¿Para qué vamos? What are we going there for? ¿Para qué? What for? Vamos, are we going there? And the last ones. We also have ¿por qué? Which means why. ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué? And we also have ¿qué? Which means what or which. ¿Qué? What? Which? ¿Qué? And the other one, ¿quién? Which means who. ¿Quién? Who? ¿Quién? Who is it? ¿Quién? And okay, let's try one more time. ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Qué? What? Which? ¿Quién? Who? ¿Quién? Okay, let's try the examples. ¿Por qué comes una manzana? Why do you eat an apple? ¿Por qué comes una manzana? Why do you eat an apple? ¿Por qué comes una manzana? And the next one. ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? ¿Qué haces? And this phrase actually has a mistake. And it's on purpose. Let's see if you can actually figure out what the mistake is. The mistake is that que should have an accent on the letter E. Because if you look down here, all of the words related to questions, they have an accent. So que should have an accent. ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? So yes, make sure you remember to put accents with all of these words, because whenever you make a question, they tend to have accents. So yes, this is the mistake. ¿Qué? It should have an accent. ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? And the next one. ¿Quién es él? Who is he? ¿Quién es él? Who is he? ¿Quién es él? Who is he? So yeah, so that's it for this one. And make sure to check out the Quizlet. I think this one is very important because you can actually practice speaking and remembering all of these words. Since this lesson has a lot of new material, I definitely recommend checking out the Quizlet for practice. So as always, thanks for watching. So now it's your turn to practice Spanish. You can find the lessons Quizlet by going into the Lecture Resources folder. Thanks for watching.